Hi, you guys. Can everybody hear me? I'm gonna wait and make sure everything's good before I start in and give the update on Pops. Somebody type in yes that you got me. Hi, Greg. I hope you guys can hear me. Somebody let me know. Hi, Tori. Hi, Noel. My friend Noel. It's been so long since we don't interact enough. I've known Noel forever. Hello. Hi, George. Sean, my favorite shot caller and good friend. Becky, my good local friend. So let's let notifications go out real quick. Hi, Kelly B. Hi, love. Hi, Mike, the Cray, and another good local friend and thrifter and reseller, Jennifer. Hi, Rocky Mountain Values. Okay, I'm good. All right, you guys. I tried to do this yesterday and I just couldn't. So I'm doing this to let you guys have an update. Hi, Charlene. Hi, Joni. Hi, everyone. Colleen. And a lot of you were fond of Pops, right? So you needed I needed to do something a little more special than just an announce, just type in. So just let me cut to the chase, and then we'll back up. And for those of you that were fond of Dad, are fond, were fond, I'll give you a little bit of background. We'll spend a few minutes talking about that. And if any of you have any words of wisdom for this kind of mourning, this is the first time I've lost a parent. I've lost lots of friends and extended family, since the age 14. But this is the first time I've lost, like a mom or a dad, brother, sister, God forbid, child. That has to be the worst. So if any of you have any words of wisdom, want to share some of your stories, I know a couple of you have lost people recently as well. Okay, so cut to the chase. Yes, Dad passed away. Yes, he did. So now I'll back up a little bit, okay? I tried to do this yesterday. Whew, no crying. Okay. Stephanie. Hang on. I want to highlight Stephanie. Where are you, girl? Stephanie just recently lost her father, too. I know you did, girl. That was just what? A couple months ago, if not last month. Okay, so those of you that were fond of Pops. So last Saturday night, I did have to take an ambulance ride with Pops. He was doing fine, relatively fine. You guys, let me back up. Let's back up to this. These are Dad's colors. He was a Harley rider from ever since before I was a baby. Dad was a Harley rider. Here's his vest. These are his colors. As you can see, the group he rode with was called the Hallelujah Riders, and they rode for Christ. Now, in 1987, Dad went to Sturgis. I guess there's all kinds at Sturgis. So Dad and his group went to Sturgis and they did some ministry work. And then also, hi Kelly, hi Glassy Sisters, hi y'all. Thanks for coming for this. And that particular year, Dad had a great time because besides the ministry and being with all his church riders, he a film crew was there among many, and one of them asked if they could ride with Dad because he had a big fancy gold wing Harley and the comfy with all the bells and whistles. This was 1987. This was probably about his eighth motorcycle ever since he was young. And so this film person rode on the back with Dad, and he helped go around and let this person film. I have the VHS. It's on a VHS, right? Because this was 1987. I have a copy of that. But that year, after Sturgis was over, coming back through the mountains, Dad did wreck his Harley, and he had to be air flighted to Salt Lake City. Hannah was just a baby. She just like 1 or 2 years old. So I flew to Salt Lake City, and Dad was in a coma, head injury, of course, right? 1987, coming back from Sturgis. And he wasn't expected to live then, you all. He wasn't. You might not have noticed because Pops always wore a hat, especially his Jesus hat that he always got what we called style points for. Oh my gosh, people loved this hat, mostly the ladies, but guys too. Whenever he went walking with my husband, whenever he went to the thrift stores with me, oh, he would just smile so much. The ladies were just all on Dad over this hat. But anyway, so you might not have noticed, but Dad has a plate in his head from that 1997 accident. He was not expected to live, but he did. A miracle happened. Then he's like, well, he's not going to be able to talk or walk. Well, as I'm walking him down the hallway, well, we just don't know. But Dad mostly fully recovered. A little bit of back pain, which he had surgery for later, a little bit of hardware in there, and a little bit of cognitive loss. He couldn't really understand too abstract of concepts anymore. You had to keep your questions and answers simple. You know what I mean? So it wasn't enough to where it was, he looked fine. And so a lot of people, mean people in the world, would be like, they'd get really aggravated to be mean to Dad because they thought he was being rude or something. It's just that you had to keep, this is how I learned to have patience with people, and their speech and the way they act. Sometimes people that you think are mean or grumpy or just like not nice, sometimes they have mental problems that are either undiagnosed or they're so mild you can't really tell at first. So this is how I learned a lot of patience. This is how I learned to speak differently to different people, to be clear. But he lost a little bit of cognitive. But he lived, and he went on. He could no longer work at General Motors. He had a great job at General Motors, but they had to let him go. But that's okay. Dad recovered. He got a divorce from the lady that he was married to at the time. Came back to me with nothing. That's all the shade I'm going to throw on that church lady. Came back to me with nothing, but he moved to Colorado, and on and off, Dad has lived with me. Dad took care of me. I've kind of taken care of Dad ever since I was a teenager, actually, since the divorce, because I went with Dad and my brother went with my mom. Anyways, and Dad was pretty sad about that. So that took a couple of years, But anyways, I've been keeping an eye on my dad ever since, especially more so since 1987. But thank goodness he moved here. And once he got his credit to be kind of fixed, he was able to actually purchase some property way up in the mountain. And so he lived up there probably since about 2000 until 2016, when the dementia started kicking in and he just wasn't able, he'd forget to pay his bills. He wasn't eating right. Other women around there were taking advantage of him and money was disappearing. So he went to the hospital with anemia. He was bleeding somewhere. And so anyways, the doctor up there called it. So we brought Dad down the mountain because it was like 2 hours and then another 15 minutes up a dirt road. I'm like, Dad, I can't run up and down the mountains like this. I have to work still. Anyways, we brought Dad in with us. I gave up my very large living room. We didn't just stick him in a room. We gave him our large living room where we made like a studio apartment. So there was space, the bed in the corner, a desk, and whatever. And he had a computer. I bought my dad his first computer when he was staying with me in 2002. I bought him I think it was 2002. I bought him an old Apple computer, which would be worth a lot of money now. It was one of those all-in-one Apple. And he taught himself how to do email and how to do things. So he had some, he still had some cognitive areas that were really good. But speech and stuff, I don't know. It was just different. Who knows how the brain really works? Anyways, you guys. So everything caught up with Dad recently. Okay, we noticed his dementia was getting a little weird. A couple weeks ago, I got up in the middle of the night because I couldn't sleep. It was 2:00, and I went to get a snack, and I turned on the kitchen light, and out comes Dad, all dressed in his nice maroon Levi's and his, hi, honey, I'm updating about Dad. That's Steve home for lunch. In his nice pink snap shirt. He wore those cowboy snap shirts because he couldn't do the buttons. Plus, he loved them. And he was ready to go to the bank to cash his pension check. And I'm like, Dad, it's 2:00 in the morning. And he's like, it is. So we were starting to have little episodes like that where I'd see him making waffles at dinner. And I'm like, Dad, is that what you want for dinner? And he's like, it's dinner. You know what I'm saying? So we were starting to notice that. Okay, so now this is what happened. You, I know some of you have watched the comment that I left for you all a little late. And so, oh, did your dad like those snap shirts too? It's just, they're so cool. Well, I would buy them anytime, Stephanie, that I saw them in the thrift stores, and dad would too. That was his favorite thing to find, one of those pearl snap shirts. And he looked sharp in them. And some of them, he would buy these iron on letters from Walmart, and he would have me iron on like Jesus or something. But, anyways, where was I? Let me stay focused, because then I'll get up to this. Okay, so I needed to update you guys because I felt bad because some of you were still sending prayers. Now, listen, I don't want you to think your prayers were wasted, even though dad did pass away Thursday. Okay, but it's taken me a while, to get to where I could do this for you guys. There was family conversations, arrangements to be made, the roller coaster ride myself of crying, not even being able to go into dad's room. Whew, you know how that is, right? So don't think that your prayers were wasted. Now, let me tell you this. My dad, he had a strong body. Nothing was wrong with his heart or his lungs, but his brain was deteriorating. He'd already been missing a piece. I mean, literally missing a piece from 1987. Okay. Starting to have pains from all the hardware and the arthritis as you get older. My dad was just always a handyman. He always had a side hustle ever since I was young. My dad had a side hustle, handyman work, building things, wallpaper steaming. I grew up that way. So you can see why I am the way I am. And my mom is an artist of many types. And my mom was a hippie. This is why I'm the way I am. So listen, dad has been ready to go for a while. The COVID was hard on him, the shutdown, not being able to go to church. Then he broke his foot, right? And so he couldn't go on his daily walks with my husband. My husband would take him on daily walks to keep his strength up. So dad had no problems in all of this. But last Saturday, I heard a thud. He'd fallen. So I went to take care of him. And we got him back up in bed. And then he fell again, like immediately 5 minutes later. That was his third fall, come to find out. Well, that third one, we could not get him back up. And the left side was curling up and numb. So I suspected he had a stroke. I had Steve call, the ambulance. So dad, this is what happened to dad. The universe, Lord, chose something quick and easy. There was no suffering from cancer for years. There was nothing wrong with dad's major internal organs, okay? Wasn't a drinker, wasn't a smoker. He studied the Bible for 2 hours every morning before he would do anything. I mean, writing, taking notes, having me buy concordance. Is that how you say it? Concordances? Those Bible dictionary things, and looking at maps to see where places were. And if I were to show you his room, dad would buy stick-on letters, and I would too for him at the thrift store or Walmart. And he would make all these signs. Now, they're kind of childlike, but you have to remember my dad's now, cognitive problems from the motorcycle accident and now dementia setting in. But, he'd make all these signs about I love Jesus and praying for people. He'd make the signs. They're everywhere down there. And sometimes they would be sad ones. I'm ready to go home to my Heavenly Father, things like that. That was increasing. Okay, dad was lonely, as can happen when you get older and your social life kind of narrows. The only pain my dad really had was some arthritis, which we managed, some arthritis. So what happened to dad was quick. It was something that cannot be fixed and operated on. He was bleeding internally at the base of his brain. It cannot be operated on. It cannot be fixed. It's not like he hit his head again and was bleeding around here. They could not stop that. They did try to give him blood pressure medicine, which he was never on before, because like I said, he didn't have any problems, to try to slow it down. And then they took another CAT scan and they're like, this really can't be fixed. We can slow it down. But dad was already to where the only way he could communicate was squeezing me a little bit, yes or no, with his right hand. It could not be fixed, you guys. And dad had a do not resuscitate. So we honored that. So we moved him up to hospice. But because Dad's internal organs were so strong, it did take about 3 more days for him to slowly fade away. Dad was almost 80, Greg. He would have been 80. So you guys, your prayers, don't think that they weren't, for anything. Oh, I wanted to do this without crying. Hang on. Don't want to cry, you guys. Okay. So, the universe, God, Jesus, whatever, it was a quick, easy, and painless way to go. Because Dad's body was strong, but he did want to go, you guys, okay? Dad has been wanting to go. Sorry, hang on. Hang on just a minute. I did not want to cry. I thought I was ready to do this. All right, you guys. So, those of you that were fans of Pops, I can't thank you enough how happy that made him. I would show him himself whenever he was on TV, on my videos. I would read to him the comments. It meant a lot to him, okay? Especially the last couple of years with not being able to socialize at church. It meant a lot to Dad. I want you guys to know how awesome you were to my dad and what it meant to him as well. Okay, let's wrap this up. This is Dad's graduation picture when he was 18 years old. Quite a handsome young man. My dad was 6 foot tall. This was Pops, I think, when he moved out of the house with me and got his own, what he calls his heavenly country home up at Lake George. So here he's about, 62 or 65. He likes his Western stuff, got his snap shirt on. You can see there where the plate was in his head and losing his hair, but still a handsome man according to the ladies of his age, okay? So there was Dad. This is the cross that I bought him that he always wore. He went to the hospital with this in his pajamas. That's his Jesus hat. These are his colors for his Christian motorcycle gang or group. So I keep this stuff, and this is probably going to be what I'm going to keep for a while in his room, even after I put it back into my formal living room. Yeah, I think, wait a minute, this is when, let me show you guys this picture. This is when Dad, let me see if I can figure out how to do this. This is when Dad first came off the mountain, and he was pretty decrepit, but we got him healthy again and walking. So with his cane, he could walk. Let me see how I do this. Share screen. I'll show you this one picture I pulled because you can see how Father and I kind of look alike. I am exact merge of my mom. If you saw pictures of my mom, like my mom, my dad, and me, I am an exact merge. So let's see. How do I do that? Share. There it is. There's me and Pops. So this is when, are you guys seeing it? Yeah. So this is when, I guess maybe about 8 years ago, or after he moved in with us, we brought him down off the mountain and we're walking. My husband took my dad walking all the time. This was one of the times I went with Dad, but you can see. So here he's about, 72 years old. I think that's pretty good, right? Right, you guys? That's pretty good, right? He hung in there really nicely. Okay, you guys, I see all of you here. Thank you. Thank you for coming and supporting me through this. Please, I'll leave the comment section open under this video if you have any words of how to deal with the roller coaster, because like I said, this is the first time it's been a parent, someone this close in my inner circle. So some of you have been through it. Stephanie, I know you just went through it, dear. So if you have any words of wisdom to drop, or if you just want to talk about your mom and dad that passed away, leave a little memorial down there. You can do that, okay? And I might need a break today, but in a couple of days, I'll come back and answer and talk to you guys some more in the comments. Okay, you guys. Thank you again, all of you that were fans of Pops and always asked about him and said hi. He knows that. I told him, okay? Noel, your dad passed 32. Oh, you were young, sweetie. You were young. All right, you guys. So I have to, when I have to get it together and get back to work. I did manage to get all of the sale boxes out last week, and Steve took them to the post office. I only have 2 pictures that I'm still dealing with, but I have talked to them, and they know, and they're giving me time. So, you guys, thank you for coming. Thank you for helping me with this. Leave any words of wisdom. Leave stories, a memorial if you want to, of remembering your mom and dad. And those of you that were praying, it was not wasted. I almost say, like, if I have to go, I want a quick and easy, what dad did. Quick and easy. A little bit of time for friends and family to say goodbye, and this slow, painless drifting away. No years of suffering. You know what I mean? All right, you guys. Thank you again. And I'll see you in a few days. Okay? I want to end this now. I love you all very much for your support. Thank you. I'll see you guys in a few days. Bye bye.